Question number 1. What is the atomic number of an element with 12 protons, 13 neutrons, and 12 electrons? Hint: use the periodic table.
Great job. 12 is the accurate answer.
Question number 2. James Dalton proved that the true nature of the atom could best be described as resembling plum pudding.
Sharp thinking. False is the right choice.
Question number 3. What is the name of the atom in the picture? Hint: look at the proton and then use the periodic table.
Well reasoned. Carbon is the correct choice.
Question number 4. In oxides of nitrogen, atoms combine in small whole number ratios. This evidence supports the law of. Excellent. Multiple proportions is a brilliant choice. Question number 5. This process shows the change of the state of matter. Which of the following is the process?
Good job. Your answer melting works well here.
Question number 6. Radiation that is made up of alpha particles is deflected toward a negatively charged plate when radiation from a radioactive source is directed between two electrically charged plates.
Nice work. You chose alpha radiation, and it is correct.
Question number 7. An atom's protons and neutrons are concentrated in a dense, central region called the dash.
Right again. Nucleus is a valid answer.
Question number 8. Thomson was the first to discover a subatomic particle, the electron. What are the others? Smart pick. Protons and neutrons is the correct choice.
Question number 9. How many neutrons does an atom of the isotope neon-22 have? Correct. 12 is the right answer. Question number 10. Only protons and neutrons can be distinguished by mass, charge, and position in an atom. Nice selection. False is the correct and valid answer.
Question number 11. A pure sample of ammonia contains 14 g of nitrogen and 3 grams of hydrogen. A second sample of pure ammonia contains 28 g nitrogen and 6 g of hydrogen. This is an example of the.
You got it? Your choice law of definite proportions is right.
Question number 12. 3 isotopes of oxygen occur in nature: oxygen-16, oxygen-17, and oxygen-18. If the atomic mass of oxygen is 15.9994, which of the 3 isotopes, if any, is the most abundant? Clear logic. Your choice oxygen-16 is sound and 100% true.
Question number 13. The smallest particle of an element that retains all the properties of that element is electrically neutral, spherically shaped, and composed of electrons, protons, and neutrons.
Valid point. Atom is. Question number 14. The image shows the scientific notation of sodium. What is the atomic mass of Na?
Excellent choice. 23 is the right answer. Question number 15. Which of the following in Fig do not represent Bohr's model of an atom correctly? Smart move. And is an accurate answer.
Question number 16. How many protons are in a sodium atom, Na? Well done. Sodium has 11 protons is the right choice. Question number 17. A negatively charged, fast-moving particle with an extremely small mass that is found in all forms of matter and moves through the empty space surrounding an atom's nucleus. Strong choice. Electron is the right answer. Question number 18.
Scientists analyzed an unknown sample and determined that it contained 5 moles of oxygen and 2 moles of nitrogen. Which of the following would be its molecular formula? Right choice. N25 is the best answer.
Question number 19. Which process proves the statement? Which process proves this statement?
You chose diffusion das infiltration, and it is correct.
Question number 20. What scientist is best known for his plum pudding model of the atom?
On track, J. Thomson is the correct answer.
Question number 21. What old model of the atom is pictured here and still sometimes used?
Well picked. Planetary model is the correct answer.
Question number 22. What is the atomic number of barium bar?
Great thinking. 56 is the right choice. Question number 23. What is the nucleon number of? What is the nucleon number for I? You're right. 39 is the correct answer.
Question number 24. A positively charged particle found in the nucleus is called a...
Nicely done. Proton is a solid answer.
Question number 25. Which subatomic particle has a negative charge in the atom?
Solid response. Electron is a valid choice.
Question number 26. The ion of an element has 3 positive charges. Mass number of the atom is 27 and the number of neutrons is 14. What is the number of electrons in the ion?
Correct response. 10 is the most accurate answer. Question number 27. The positively charged particles of an atom are the dash. Bravo, protons is the answer. Question number 28. In this picture, the electrons are found in which color? Exactly. Green makes sense, and it is right choice. Question number 29. Which of the following cannot be the maximum number of electrons in a given shell according to the Bohr and Berry's rule for electronic configuration? Perfect. 6 is the correct choice. Question number 30. Elements in the same dash are more chemically similar. Good thinking. Group is the right answer. Question number 31. Which of the following substances is made up of atoms? Well picked. Ion is the correct answer. Question number 32. How many protons and electrons does this element have? Right again. 17 is a valid answer. Question number 33. The unknown emission spectra belongs to the element. Nice selection. Mercury is the correct and valid answer.
Question number 34. In standard nuclear notation, what does A represent?
You chose the number of nucleons, and it is correct.
Question number 35. Democritus believed that matter was made up of dash.
You're right. Atoms is the correct answer. Question number 36. What is the tiny, massive central part of the atom? You got it. Your choice nucleus is right.
Question number 37. What are the maximum number of electron in M shell?
Perfect. 8 is the correct choice. Question number 38. How many electrons are present in this carbon atom? Right choice. 6 is the best answer.
Question number 39. How many d orbitals are there in a given sublevel?
Valid point. 5 is true. Question number 40. Region of high probability of finding an electron. Good thinking. Atomic orbital is the right answer.
Question number 41. He proposed the plum pudding model of the atom.
On track. J.J. Thomson is the correct answer.
Question number 42. What parts of the atom make up most of its mass?
Great job. Protons and neutrons is the accurate answer.
Question number 43. Radiation emitted by a certain radioisotope is used to kill bacteria and other microorganisms in foods such as potatoes. What is the isotope?
Excellent choice. Cobalt-60 is the right answer. Question number 44. What are the three particles that make up the atom?
Sharp thinking. Protons, neutrons, and electrons is the right choice.
Question number 45. Which element does the above model represent?
Well reasoned. Lithium is the correct choice.
Question number 46. Neutrons have almost exactly the same mass as?
Correct response. Protons is the most accurate answer.
Question number 47. Electrons are subatomic particles that exist.
Nicely done. Outside the nucleus is a solid answer.
Question number 48. Where are neutrons located within an atom?
Smart pick. Nucleus is the correct choice. Question number 49. How many of these substances are elements? Good job. Your answer 3 works well here.
Question number 50. This is the same as the number of protons.
Solid response. Atomic number is a valid choice.
Question number 51. Electrons have virtually no mass. Great thinking. True is the right choice.
Question number 52. Which two letters represent the nucleus?
Nice work. You chose B and C and it is correct.
Question number 53. Which of the Lewis models is for carbon?
Smart move. 1 is an accurate answer.
Question number 54. An atom of one of the isotopes of sodium contains 11 protons, 11 electrons, and 13 neutrons. State the nucleon number of this isotope.
Strong choice. 24 is the right answer. Question number 55. Aristotle said that dash cannot exist. Bravo. Empty space is the answer. Question number 56. The number of protons is equal to the... Well done. Atomic number is the right choice.
Question number 57. What number indicates an electron?
Correct. 3 is the right answer.
Question number 58. The extremely small, positively charged, dense center of an atom that contains positively charged protons and neutral neutrons.
Clear logic. Your choice nucleus is sound and 100% true.
Question number 59. The nucleus of an atom contains.
Excellent. Both protons and neutrons is a brilliant choice.
Question number 60. Look at the picture. What is a...
Exactly. Evaporation makes sense and it is right choice.
Question number 61. In the Bohr model of the atom, electrons are said to move in specific paths around the nucleus. What are these paths called?
Right again. Orbits is a valid answer.
Question number 62. Atom X has a proton number of 5 and a nucleon number of 11. How many protons, electrons, and neutrons are present in atom X?
Correct. Protons, electrons, 5 neutrons, 6 is the right answer. Question number 63. A certain element is known to exist as 2 different isotopes. State one thing that is the same for atoms of both isotopes. Clear logic. Your choice, the number of protons, is sound and 100% true.
Question number 64. Experiments with cathode rays being deflected by a magnetic field show that cathode rays are composed of particles that are...
Excellent choice. Negatively charged is the right answer.
Question number 65. Choose the correct option.
Nice selection. Nucleus positive is the correct and valid answer.
Question number 66. An atom of element Y has 18 protons and 22 neutrons in its nucleus. What is the number of valence electrons in atom Li? Right choice. 8 is the best, sir.
Question number 67. The law of Dash states that mass is neither created nor destroyed during chemical reactions or physical changes.
Well picked. Conservation of mass is the correct answer. Question number 68. Electrons move around the nucleus in discrete orbits called in energy cells. This statement is from Dash model.
Sharp thinking. Bose is the right choice.
Question number 69. If the F block contains 14 columns, then it would make sense that an F orbital can hold up to dash electrons.
You got it. Your choice 14 is right.
Question number 70. While making his model of an atom, what structure did Rutherford discover?
Excellent. The nucleus is a brilliant choice. Question number 71. The rays and particles alpha and beta particles and gamma rays that are emitted by radioactive materials. Nicely done. Radiation is a solid answer. Question number 72. The area around the nucleus of an atom, where the atom's electrons are most likely to be found, is called. Valid point. Electron cloud is true. Question number 73. E. Goldstein in 1886 discovered the presence of new radiations in a gas discharge and called them dash. Good thinking. Canal rays is the right answer. Question number 74. If a carbon atom has 6 protons and has a mass of 13 mu, how many neutrons are in that carbon atom? Great thinking. 10 is the right choice. Question number 75. Helium atom has an atomic mass of 4 and 2 protons in its nucleus. How many neutrons does it have? Smart pick. 2 is the correct choice. Question number 76. A neutral, subatomic particle in an atom's nucleus that has a mass nearly equal to that of a proton. Exactly. Neutron makes sense, and it is right choice.
Question number 77. The atomic number of sulfur is 16. Identify the number of electrons in each shell of sulfur.
Correct response. 286 is the most accurate answer.
Question number 78. Mass No of an atom is 27 and the No of neutrons is 14. What is the No of electrons in that atom?
Bravo, 13 is the answer.
Question number 79. An atom of chlorine-37 has 17 electrons. How many neutrons does an atom of chlorine-37 contain?
You're right. 20 is the correct answer. Question number 80. Which number shown on the periodic table is based on the average of all isotopes of an element? Dep.
Well reasoned. Atomic mass is the correct choice.
Question number 81. If K and L shells of an atom are full, then what would be the total No of electrons in the atom?
Strong choice. 10 is the right answer.
Question number 82. Which subatomic particles are found in the electron cloud of an atom?
Solid response. Electrons is a valid choice.
Question number 83. What is the mass number of an atom which contains 28 protons, 28 electrons, and 34 neutrons?
Good job. Your answer 62 works well here.
Question number 84. Which of the following particles has a mass that is almost the same as the mass of a proton?
You chose neutron. And it is correct.
Question number 85. What is the maximum number of electrons that can occupy the second energy level of an atom?
Smart move. 8 is an accurate answer.
Question number 86. When a nucleus undergoes nuclear decay by gamma rays, the atomic number of the element dash.
On track. Remains the same is the correct answer.
Question number 87. Dash is the lowest energy level an electron will occupy in an atom at an ordinary condition.
Well done. Ground state is the right choice.
Question number 88. Which scientist determined that almost all of an atom's mass of is located in its nucleus?
Perfect. Rutherford is the correct choice.
Question number 89. Radiation that originates from the cathode and travels to the anode of a cathode ray tube.
Great job. Cathode ray is the accurate answer.
Question number 90. A type of equation that shows the atomic number and mass number of the particles involved.
Nice work. You chose nuclear equation, and it is correct.
Question number 91. What part of the water cycle can carry pollutants from your yard to streams and rivers?
Nice selection. Runoff is the correct and valid answer.
Question number 92. An element has the mass number 12 and atomic number 6. The number of neutrons in it is.
Solid response. 6 is a valid choice. Question number 93. A certain atom has 26 protons, 26 electrons, and 30 neutrons. What is its mass number?
Well picked. 56 is the correct answer.
Question number 94. Which subatomic particles are much smaller than the others and have a negative charge?
Strong choice. Electron is the right answer.
Question number 95. Which of the following correctly represent the electronic distribution in the Mg atom?
Well reasoned. 282 is the correct choice.
Question number 96. What is the smallest part of matter that still retains the properties of its element?
Excellent. Atoms is a brilliant choice.
Question number 97. When an electron absorbs enough energy, it jumps up to a higher level. This is called
Sharp thinking. Excitation state is the right choice. Question number 98. What principle states that no two electrons can have the same set of quantum numbers? Good job. Your answer, Pauli exclusion principle, works well here.
Question number 99. A patient is diagnosed of having cancer. Which isotope is used to treat the patient?
smart move. Cobalt-60 is an accurate answer.
Question number 100. The number after an element's name, representing the sum of its protons and neutrons.
Great thinking. Mass number is the right choice.
Question number 101. An atom of element, hydrogen, has 4 electrons and has 9 nucleons. Mass number is. Good thinking. 9U is the right answer. Question number 102. The atomic number of sodium is 11. How many valence electrons does sodium have? Clear logic. Your choice 1 is sound and 100% true. Question number 103. An atom has a mass number of 23 and atomic number 11. The number of protons is dash. You chose 11 and it is correct. Question number 104. Which of the following represents the electron configuration of a metallic element?
Correct. 2.83 is the right answer. Question number 105. An element with a mass number of 10 and an atomic number of 6 has how many protons?
On track, 6 is the correct answer.
Question number 106. Generally, in a dash, an atom, the number of dash is equal to the number of electrons.
Bravo. Neutral, protons is the answer.
Question number 107. Which model of the atom first introduced the concept of quantized electron orbits?
You got it. Your choice Bohr model is right.
Question number 108. Which subatomic particle is responsible for the chemical properties of an element?
Perfect. Electron is the correct choice.
Question number 109. Two isotopes of an element will have different numbers of what subatomic particle?
You're right. Neutrons is the correct answer.
Question number 110. Which of the following subatomic particle determines the identity of an element?
Right again. Proton is a valid answer.
Question number 111. What is the central part of an atom called, which contains protons and neutrons?
Smart pick. Nucleus is the correct choice.
Question number 112. What is the maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in the M shell?
Nice work. You chose 18 and it is correct.
Question number 113. A spontaneous process in which unstable nuclei lose energy by emitting radiation.
Nicely done. Radioactive decay is a solid answer. Question number 114. What is the maximum number of electrons that are allowed on the second orbital?
Valid point. 8 is true. Question number 115. Which atomic model proposed the presence of electrons inside a positive sphere?
Exactly. Thomson's atomic model makes sense and it is right choice. Question number 116. A high-speed electron with a 1 charge that is emitted during radioactive decay.
Excellent choice. Beta particle is the right answer.
Question number 117. 7 smallest part of an element that has all of the properties of that element. Well done. Atom is the right choice.
Question number 118. The central region of an atom, where its neutrons and protons are as its dash.
Right choice. Nucleus is the best answer. Question number 119. An element can be defined by the number of dash dowel in the nucleus of its atoms. Correct response. Protons is the most accurate answer.
Question number 120, 100, and 112 are two forms of silver with different mass, so they are?
Great job. Isotopes is the accurate answer.
Question number 121. What is the primary factor that determines the chemical element of an atom?
You're right. Number of protons is the correct answer. Question number 122. Which of the following represent electronic distribution in magnesium atom?
Right again, 282 is a valid answer. Question number 123. The process when liquid water from Earth's surface changes to water vapor. Well done. Evaporation is the right choice. Question number 124. A subatomic particle in an atom's nucleus that has a positive charge of 1+. Excellent. Proton is a brilliant choice.
Question number 125. What noble gas should be used to write the shorthand configuration for T?
Great thinking. Crar is the right choice.
Question number 126. The subatomic particles that make up neutrons and protons are called dash.
On track. Quarks is the correct answer.
Question number 127. An atom has 4 shells and 19 protons in its atom. What is its valency?
Excellent choice. 1 is the right answer. Question number 128. Which subatomic particles in the atom have no charge?
Well picked. Neutron is the correct answer.
Question number 129. Which of the following elements contains the greatest amount of protons? You got it? Your choice calcium is right. Question number 130. According to Aufbau principle, which orbital fills after the 4s orbital? Right choice. ZD is the best answer. Question number 131. Atoms of the same element with different numbers of neutrons are called? Smart move. Isotopes is an accurate answer. Question number 132. Which atom is represented by 10 protons, 10 neutrons, and 10 electrons? You chose neon, and it is correct. Question number 133. The smallest particle of an element that still represents that element. Sharp thinking. Atom is the right choice. Question number 134. Except for in the simplest type of hydrogen atom, all nuclei consist of? Bravo! Protons and neutrons is the answer.
Question number 135. The alpha particles used by Rutherford in his gold foil experiment are?
Nice work. You chose helium ions, and it is correct.
Question number 136. Carbon has atomic number of 6. Calculate the number neutrons in C14.
Good thinking. 8 is the right answer.
Question number 137. This particle determines what element you have the element's identity.
Strong choice. Proton is the right answer.
Question number 138. The number of valence electrons an atom has is determined by its dash.
Well reasoned. Main group is the correct choice.
Question number 139. Canal rays discovered by E. Goldstein contained particles that were.
Clear logic. Your choice positively charged is sound and 100% true.
Question number 140. Which of the following subatomic particles have the largest mass? Correct. Proton and neutron is the right answer. Question number 141. Dash is the universal solvent because it dissolves most substances.
Great job. Water is the accurate answer. Question number 142. Who discovered the existence of neutrons in the nucleus of an atom?
Smart pick. Chadwick is the correct choice. Question number 143. The dash particle determines the identity of what element you have. Nice selection. Proton is the correct and valid answer. Question number 144. Which subatomic particle is found in the nucleus and has no charge? Nicely done. Neutron is a solid answer. Question number 145. An element X has electronic configuration 282. Its valency is?
Valid. Point 2 is true.
Question number 146. What is the number of electrons in the valence shell of boron?
Exactly. 3 makes sense, and it is right choice.
Question number 147. What is the maximum number of electrons in the M shell of an atom? Correct response. 18 is the most accurate answer. Question number 138. Calcium-42 has 20 protons. How many neutrons does calcium-42 have?
Good job. Your answer 22 works well here.
Question number 149. If a neutral atom has 8 protons, how many electrons does it have? Perfect.
8 is the correct choice.
Question number 150. The process in which some substances spontaneously emit radiation.
Solid response. Radioactivity is a valid choice.
Question number 151. What is the maximum number of electrons that an orbital can have? Iki.
You chose 2 electrons, and it is correct.
Question number 152. In an atom, electrons move in definite orbits around the nucleus.
Right choice. Neil Bohr is the best answer. Question number 153. Carbon is atomic number 6. What is the mass number of carbon-13?
Solid response. 13 is a valid choice.
Question number 154. A pure form of matter that cannot be broken into other elements.
Bravo. Element is the answer.
Question number 155. Which model of an atom places electrons on energy levels shells?
Smart pick. Bohr model is the correct choice.
Question number 156. The atomic number of an element is defined by its number of dash.
Great job. Protons is the accurate answer.
Question number 157. If the number of electrons in an atom changes, you make a dash. Exactly. On makes sense, and it is right choice. Question number 158. Rutherford's alpha scattering experiment led to the discovery of.
Well done. Nucleus is the right choice.
Question number 159. Who was the scientist that revived the ancient idea of the atom?
Excellent. Dalton is a brilliant choice.
Question number 160. Atom's X forms a positive ion. Which of the following is atom X?
Great thinking. Hydrogen is the right choice.
Question number 161. What is the default charge of an element on the periodic table? Wu?
Well reasoned. Neutral is the correct choice.
Question number 162. The sum of the protons and neutrons in an atom equals the dash.
Excellent choice. Mass number is the right answer. Question number 163. The atomic mass is dependent on which 2 subatomic particles?
Good job. Your answer protons and neutrons works well here. Question number 164. John Dalton's ideas about atoms were similar to those of Dash.
Nice work. You chose Democritus, and it is correct.
Question number 165. How many electrons can the first energy level of an atom fit?
Sharp thinking. 2 is the right choice.
Question number 166. An atom with 3 protons and 4 neutrons will have a valency of.
Smart move. 1 is an accurate answer.
Question number 167. Cathode rays are composed of particles that are now known as.
Nice selection. Electrons is the correct and valid answer.
Question number 168. An outermost shell, which had 8 electrons, was said to be.
You got it? Your choice octet is right.
Question number 169. If an atom has 10 electrons, how many protons does it have?
Strong choice. 10 is the right answer.
Question number 170. Rutherford called the region that deflected alpha particles.
Correct. A nucleus is the right answer.
Question number 171. A reaction that involves a change in the nucleus of an atom.
Well picked. Nuclear reaction is the correct answer.
Question number 172.
Which element's isotope is used as fuel in nuclear reactor? Good thinking. Uranium is the right answer.
Question number 173. Niels Bohr's atomic theory is similar to the concept of the.
You're right. Solar system is the correct answer. Question number 174. The mass of a helium atom is twice that of a hydrogen atom. Right again. False is a valid answer. Question number 175. Which of the following scientists discovered the electron? Valid point. J.J. Thomson is true. Question number 176. The particles that are found in the nucleus of an atom are.
Clear logic. Your choice protons and neutrons is sound and 100% true.
Question number 177. How would you calculate the number of neutrons in an atom?
Nicely done. Mass number, atomic number is a solid answer.
Question number 178. How many electrons can the first energy level shell hold?
Correct response. 2 is the most accurate answer. Question number 179. The weighted average mass of the isotopes of that element. On track. Atomic mass is the correct answer.
Question number 180. The mass of one Avogadro's number of N atoms is equal to?
Perfect. 14G is the correct choice. Question number 181. An element has 5 valence electron. What is its valency? Clear logic. Your choice 3 is sound and 100% true.
Question number 182. In E. Goldstein, experiment the rays found was known as?
Smart pick. Canal rays is the correct choice.
Question number 183. He proposed the first formal atomic theory of the atom.
Strong choice. John Dalton is the right answer.
Question number 184. Mass of proton is dash times more than that of electron.
Nice selection. 2000 is the correct and valid answer. Question number 185. A state of matter that has a definite volume and shape. Great job. Solid is the accurate answer.
Question number 186. The center of an atom that holds protons and neutrons.
Exactly. Nucleus makes sense and it is right choice.
Question number 187. How many electrons are in a neutral atom of magnesium?
Well reasoned. 12 is the correct choice. Question number 188. Value representing the number of protons in an element. Well done. Atomic number is the right choice. Question number 189. Matter cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be. You got it? Your choice transformed, changed is right. Question number 190. Thomson proposed the model of an atom to be similar to.
Smart move. Christmas pudding is an accurate answer. Question number 191. The max no of electron in the outermost orbit is dash.
Sharp thinking. 8 is the right choice.
Question number 192. The mass number gives the number of dash in the atom. Good job. Your answer protons and neutrons works well here.
Question number 193. A particle that moves around the nucleus is a dash.
Nicely done. Electron is a solid answer.
Question number 194. Who discovered the presence of electrons in the atom?
Great thinking. J.J. Thomson is the right choice. Question number 195.
A chemical symbol represents the dash of an element.
Bravo. Name is the answer.
Question number 196. Which of these things would be considered subatomic? Solid response. Electron is a valid choice.
Question number 197. Which isotope of hydrogen does not possess neutron?
Good thinking. Protium is the right answer.
Question number 198. The relative atomic mass of an element has no unit.
Valid point. True is true.
Question number 199. Which two particles make up the nucleus of an atom? Nice work. You chose protons and neutrons, and it is correct.
Question number 200. In an atom, what is the number of protons equal to?
Correct response. The number of electrons is the most accurate answer.
Question number 201. What is the electronic configuration of magnesium?
You chose 282, and it is correct.
Question number 202. How many d orbitals are there in a given sublevel?
Well picked. 5 is the correct answer.
Question number 203. True or false? Atoms make up everything around you.
Right choice. True is the best answer. Question number 204. The nucleus of the atom is considered to have dash.
You're right. A positive charge is the correct answer.
Question number 205. The only element with no neutrons in its nucleus.
On track. Helium is the correct answer.
Question number 206. Protium, deuterium, and tritium are types of dash.
Excellent choice. Isotope is the right answer.
Question number 207. The electron distribution in an aluminium atom is?
Correct. 283 is the right answer.
Question number 208. Which isotope of carbon is used in carbon dating?
Perfect. Carbon-14 is the correct choice.
Question number 209. The nucleus of an atom makes up dash of its mass.
Excellent. 99.9% is a brilliant choice. Question number 210. Who was known as the father of nuclear physics? Right again. Rutherford is a valid answer. Question number 211. All atoms of the same element have the same dash. You're right. Number of protons is the correct answer. Question number 212. Subatomic particles that are neutral in charge.
Strong choice. Neutrons is the right answer.
Question number 213. The experiment of gold foil was about dash thick.
Sharp thinking. 1,000 atoms is the right choice. Question number 214. Do electrons carry positive or negative charges? Well done. Negative is the right choice.
Question number 215. Will Kel-35 and Cel-37 have different valencies?
Good thinking. No is the right answer.
Question number 216. Which subatomic particle was discovered first? Exactly. Proton makes sense and it is right choice. Question number 217. The type of an atom is identified by its dash.
Smart move. Atomic number is an accurate answer.
Question number 218. This particle determines which element it is.
Solid response. Protons is a valid choice.
Question number 219. Who discovered the subatomic particle proton?
Well reasoned. E. Goldstein is the correct choice. Question number 220. Which element would be most stable in nature?
correct response. Element with 2 electrons is the most accurate answer.
Question number 221. Quarks make up which 2 subatomic particles?
Great job. Protons and neutrons is the accurate answer.
Question number 222. Who proposed the Christmas pudding model?
Smart pick. J.J. Thomson is the correct choice.
Question number 223. Which subatomic particle has a charge of +1?
Good job. Your answer, Proton, works well here.
Question number 224. Which of the following is a p-block element?
Great thinking. R is the right choice.
Question number 225. Whose numerous writing was the atomic theory?
Nice selection. Bohr is the correct and valid answer.
Question number 226. Who discovered that the atom has a nucleus?
Well picked. Ernest Rutherford is the correct answer.
Question number 227. How many electrons can the d sublevel hold?
Correct. 10 is the right answer.
Question number 228. What is the mass contribution of a neutron?
You got it. Your choice, Lanmu, is right.
Question number 229. Which particles are not inside the nucleus?
Nice work. You chose electrons, and it is correct.
Question number 230. Subatomic particles with a negative charge.
Excellent choice. Electrons is the right answer.
Question number 231. Which scientist discovered the electrons?
Excellent. Thomson is a brilliant choice.
Question number 232. If an electron is removed, an ion becomes?
Clear logic. Your choice positive is sound and 100% true.
Question number 233. What is the subtopic of atomic structure?
Bravo. Arrangement of subatomic particles is the answer.
Question number 234. What is the lightest subatomic particle?
Nicely done. Electron is a solid answer.
Question number 235. Thomson's model of an atom is similar to?
Perfect. Seeds in the watermelon is the correct choice.
Question number 236. 1/12 the mass of a carbon-12 atom.
Valid point. Atomic mass unit is true.
Question number 237. There are dash types of atomic orbitals.
Right again. 4 is a valid answer.
Question number 238. Who stated that atoms cannot be divided?
Right choice. Dalton is the best answer.
Question number 239. The first model of an atom was given by?
On track. J.J. Thomson is the correct answer.
Question number 240. Which element would be inert in nature?
You chose element with 2 electrons, and it is correct.
Question number 241. Choose the particle that has no charge. Nicely done. Neutron is a solid answer.
Question number 242. Who discovered the nucleus of an atom?
Correct. Ernest Rutherford is the right answer.
Question number 243. How are electrons arranged in an atom?
Excellent. In energy levels is a brilliant choice.
Question number 244. Know of protons present in sodium.
Exactly. 11 makes sense, and it is right choice.
Question number 245. The amount of space something takes up.
Nice work. You chose volume, and it is correct.
Question number 246. The valence shell of a calcium ion has?
On track. 8 electrons is the correct answer.
Question number 247. Which of these are parts of the atom?
Smart pick. Neutrons, protons, electrons is the correct choice.
Question number 248. The no of proton in an oxygen atom is...
Nice selection. 8 is the correct and valid answer.
Question number 249. What is the charge of a neutral atom?
Right choice. 0 is the best answer.
Question number 250. The positive particles of an atom are... Correct response. Proton is the most accurate answer. Question number 251. Which of these has a negative charge?
Good thinking. Electron is the right answer.
Question number 252. Where are protons located in an atom?
Valid point. Nucleus is true.
Question number 253. What is at the center of every atom?
Excellent choice. A nucleus is the right answer.
Question number 254. What is the smallest unit of matter? Well done. An atom is the right choice. Question number 255. The mass of a proton-neutron is dash.
Sharp thinking. 1 AMU is the right choice.
Question number 256. Isotopes have different number of.
You got it. Your choice neutrons is right.
Question number 257. Which particle has almost no mass?
Right again. Electrons is a valid answer.
Question number 258. What is the charge of an electron?
Strong choice. Negative is the right answer.
Question number 259. Atoms are the dash building blocks.
Well reasoned. Smallest is the correct choice.
Question number 260. Of the atom's mass is found where?
Perfect. Nucleus is the correct choice.
Question number 261. Cations have what type of charge?
Solid response. Positive is a valid choice.
Question number 262. The 3 subatomic particles are...
Bravo. Proton, neutron, electron is the answer.
Question number 263. What is the atomic number of neon? Clear logic. Your choice 10 is sound and 100% true.
Question number 264. Which charge does a proton have?
You're right. Positive is the correct answer.
Question number 265. What is the symbol of manganese?
Smart move. Mn is an accurate answer.
Question number 266. Most of the atom is empty space. You chose true, and it is correct.
Question number 267. What is the shape of s orbitals? Great thinking. Spherical shaped is the right choice. Question number 268. The number of protons in an atom.
Well picked. Atomic number is the correct answer.
Question number 269. What are charged atoms called?
Good job. Your answer ions works well here.
Question number 270. What is carbon's atomic number?
Great job. 6 is the accurate answer.
Question number 271. Which element has 31 protons?
Great thinking. Gallium is the right choice.
Question number 272. What are the orbitals for n equal torr?
Solid response. sp. F is a valid choice.
Question number 273. The valency of noble gases is?
Valid point. ZO is true.
Question number 274. Electrons were introduced by?
Good thinking.
J.J. Thomson is the right answer.
Question number 275. The nucleus is dash charged. Right choice. Positively is the best answer. Question number 276. What charge do protons have?
Nice work. You chose positive, and it is correct. Question number 277. The net charge on an atom is?
Exactly. Neutral makes sense, and it is right choice. Question number 278. Who discovered the electron? Perfect. Thomson is the correct choice.
Question number 279. Electrons have a dash charge.
You chose negative, and it is correct.
Question number 280. What is an atom made up of?
You're right. Protons, neutrons, and electrons is the correct answer. Question number 281. An electron has this charge.
Sharp thinking. Negative is the right choice. Question number 282. All matter is made of what? Excellent. Atoms is a brilliant choice.
Question number 283. What is the alpha particles? Right again. Doubly charged helium ions is a valid answer.
Question number 284. Where are electrons found?
Clear logic. Your choice outside the nucleus is sound and 100% true. Question number 285. How many neutrons in C14? Correct response. 8 is the most accurate answer.
Question number 286. What is the atomic number?
Excellent choice. Number of protons is the right answer.
Question number 287. What is a cation's charge?
Smart move. Positive is an accurate answer. Question number 288. Protons have dash charge. Smart pick. Positive is the correct choice. Question number 289. Protium is the isotope of. Nice selection. Hydrogen is the correct and valid answer.
Question number 290. Who discovered the proton?
On track. E. Goldstein is the correct answer. Question number 291. Deuterium and tritium are. Well reasoned. Isotopes is the correct choice.
Question number 292. What does mu stand for?
Well picked. Atomic mass unit is the correct answer.
Question number 293. Argon and calcium are?
Correct. Isobars is the right answer. Question number 294. Neutrons have no dash. Good job. Your answer charge works well here. Question number 295. Most of an atom is. Well done. Empty is the right choice.
Question number 296. Mass of proton is?
You got it. Your choice 1 is right.
Question number 297. What is an mu?
Strong choice. Atomic mass unit is the right answer.
Question number 298. Electrons are?
Bravo. Negative is the answer.
Question number 299. Neutrons are?
Nicely done. Neutral is a solid answer. Question number 300. Protons are? Great job. Positive is the accurate answer.
Question number 301. How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format?
You chose Contact Narayan Changdar on Facebook, and it is correct.